Greetings, Internet people. Ranting Ramsey here. How are y'all doing today? Today we're doing a rant request, and we're talking about the current trend in movies to have an over-dependence on special effects and CGI. Before I get into that, though, a little quick update on my arm. I am finally in a short cast. Yay! I can bend my elbow for the first time in weeks, and it actually kind of hurts to do so because, it was used to being cramped up in a bent position, so it's quite nice to be able to move my arm a little bit more than I was, and I'll be stuck in this thing for 3 weeks. But then after that, just a wrist brace or something for a while, I guess. So that's how that's going. So the person who brought this to my attention about the movies was a YouTube user by the name of Spunkies, and he's basically upset about the current state of the cinema, in which the trend basically is just to make a movie with the most grandiose special effects they possibly can and not really worry about the story. That a lot of movies that come out, the summer blockbusters and shit like that, are so completely devoid of any character development and any real intriguing plot. It's just some rehashed bullshit with big, pretty things going on and no real actual substance. And anyone who's like me, who watches movies for a good story and to become engaged in the characters, and really only gives a flying fuck about a movie if the writers can manage to get you to care about the characters, then if that's what you like in movie making, then, you'll find generally you're lately quite disappointed, except for the efforts of a very few directors out there, because there are a few directors that have always stood for content over effect, and then have gone on to create extremely good content and then put good effects on top of it. And that's a good mix, but lately we're going to use as many good, spectacular, dazzling effects as we can, and who gives a flying fuck if the script is any good. And the one director that I really, really like, because he has an ability to tell a really good story and keep you interested in the characters and still put in some visual effects that are stimulating and pleasing to watch, is Ridley Scott. Now, the three biggest things that he's done, in my opinion, that had amazing storytelling and character development and stuff like that, it was just really entertaining on an intellectual level, was, and these are in alphabetical order because I'm a geek like that, American Gangster, Black Hawk Down, and Hannibal are the first three movies off the top of my head that used very little in the way of special effects, used no CGI whatsoever, and still told an extremely engaging story with characters that you cared about what happened to them, and managed to keep you interested with a very bare minimum special effects. But then he also, in my opinion, proves that he knows exactly how to use special effects, ergo Alien. And it's one of the best special effects scenes in all fucking time, in my opinion, is when I believe it's John Hurt who plays the character Kane, has the alien burst out of his chest for the first time. What most people don't realize is that those on-screen reactions, like Lambert, the character Lambert, I can't remember the actress's name for the life of me, when she shrieks like a little girl and goes, "Oh God!" and everyone's sitting there with their mouth kind of agape going, "Holy shit, what just happened?" That was because the only actor on set that knew what was going to happen was John Hurt, the guy who had the alien coming out of his chest. The rest of the actors had no fucking clue what was about to happen. So Ridley Scott created this extremely tense atmosphere in the movie, and according to all the stuff I've seen documentary-wise, he created an extremely kind of mysterious, tense atmosphere on stage and on set as well. And using that atmosphere, he took one of the few really gory special effects in the entire movie and made it that much more intense by the mood he created and whatnot. The fact that the overall effects, by today's standards were cheesy doesn't mean shit, because at the time it was fucking amazing. And another example, I guess, is the old trilogy of Star Wars movies versus the new trilogy of Star Wars movies. Now, true, the old trilogy had groundbreaking special effects that nobody had ever done. LucasArts and the Industrial Light and Magic created a whole new school of special effects wizardry, I guess you could say, to use their own fucking bullshit catchphrase, for those first 3 movies, but they were propped up by characters that you cared about, what happened to them, and all this stuff. And that's one of the reasons why the diehards hated the first 3, or the new 3 movies so much, is because it just used all this CGI and green screen backgrounds and stupid bullshit effects that it forgot that the main reason that everybody was there was to get more in depth with the characters and the story, but it didn't really do that. It just threw special effects sequence after special effects sequence at you as rapidly flashing colors, ooh, pretty bright flashing things. There's lots of motion to keep people interested, and it's that basic mentality that has got me completely and totally down on the film industry right now. But I'm looking forward to some of the projects Ridley Scott has going on. The new Robin Hood movie, everyone's bagging on it because it's Russell Crowe and Ridley Scott teaming up yet again. Well, you know what? If it works, go with it. I think Gladiator was an extremely entertaining movie on so many different levels that it's not even funny. And I generally enjoy the pairing of Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe because they work well together. They have similar artistic visions. And so I'm looking forward to seeing this new Robin Hood movie because it looks like another good, solid effort in typical Ridley Scott fashion, where they're not depending on a bunch of complex special effects. Instead, he's using the art of cinematography to create tension. And which seems to be a completely and totally lost art on people like James Cameron. I'm sorry. Yes, I realize he made the second movie in my beloved fanboy Alien series, but I gotta be honest, when it came to story, it was one of the weakest ones. It helped the Weyland-Yutani being an evil corporation thing limp along a bit, but it didn't. It developed the character of Ripley, but with the script it was impossible not to. James Cameron just threw a shit ton of special effects into the way. Now, granted, I thought that was good and well done, but it did not create the tense, hopeless atmosphere that either the first or the third movie afterward did. So I am going to bag on Cameron a bit because it seems like lately all he does is design a movie around what special effects he wants to use. And God forbid we even talk about Michael Bay, the king of explosions. Michael Bay, explosions! That's like all you can expect to see in a Michael Bay movie is things blowing up. And so that's my opinion, that lately all we get is special effects, and that if we're just hurting for entertaining movies with interesting stories and good cinematography seems to be a thing that's just dying out, and very few people like Ridley Scott are keeping it alive. So that's the Rant Request, brought to you by Ranting Ramsey by request of Spunkies. Peace.